Welcome back to another episode of Argue with the Wall. I took a little week off because I was in Florida. If you are watching, you can tell that I'm just so sun-kissed by the Florida sun. And if you're not watching, I will let you know that that is sarcasm because I'm not. And you might be thinking, well, Lily, you look a little tan. Yeah, because it's fake. I went to Florida, came back, and fake tanned. So that's where I'm at right now. The only thing I gained was like a little bit of body dysmorphia and freckles. So thank God for beach vacations. Just kidding. I had a good time. I got to spend a lot of time with my friends. More specifically, I got to spend 7 days with them. And I spent 1 day without them, like a day and a half without them, and I needed to see them immediately. I had separation anxiety from my friends. So that says a lot about me and how I am in relationships, I'd say. What are we talking about today? What do you guys want to talk about today? I'll let you answer. Yeah? Is that what you want to talk about? Okay, we could talk about that. That's fine. Yeah, go ahead. You could start. I wish someone was here right now. All my friends are still in fucking school. And they're a little busy doing work and getting a degree. Whatever. So, I got a couple ideas about what I can do today in terms of topics. Today's going to be one of those where it's just, me blabbing. So if you don't like those ones, then just, I don't know, wait till next week for something more specific. But as of right now, you're getting just a couple of bullet points that are very not related at all. So, woohoo! So, today's March 20th. March is almost over. And every March, since I can remember, we've had March Madness. And if you looked me in the eyes and said, please explain March Madness, I'm gonna not really have much of an answer because here's the thing. I know basketball season's been happening. Is it like the playoffs? Basically? I know, okay. Now you're like, Lily, what do you mean? Okay, let me explain. Because I've made a bracket before. I have successfully made a bracket, let me say, last year, because it's always around the same time. This time last year, I was on my other spring break. And me and my friends, kind of like jokingly made a bracket. No money was involved. It was kind of just for shits and gigs. Giggles and shits, if you will. And correct me if I'm wrong, my friends, but I'm pretty sure I got I don't think I won, but I think I was pretty fucking close in our group of friends. And it was exhilarating. So I get it. Now where you lose me is when you start to get money involved. Because I feel like it's just all a game of luck. Like, they're fun to do, and it's fun to see, it's fun to see where your friends are and in the group. I don't even know, in the tournament, I don't fucking know what it's called. Like, I'm the last person that has any qualifications to explain anything about anything, basically. And it's fun to see, where everything's going and your placement. And then you kind of have these little, if you lose, you have to do this, betting and things like that. It should be all fun and games. But then people just take it a little too far and they're betting a shit ton of money. I'm like, do you know what you're getting yourself into? Because here's the thing, you're putting a lot of faith into some men, some 20-something-year-old men. And I feel like they're like, oh yeah, I have a pretty good idea. I've been watching all season. They're They've been doing really well. What if they have a bad day that day and then it fucks everything up and then boom, $500 down the drain? Like, I just can't justify that. However, I guess if you have the funds, you can. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure I was on Instagram recently and I saw Drake posted something and it was like him betting like $500,000. Oh, I think that was not for March Madness. I don't think that was for the fight between like Jake Paul and someone else. I'm not going to say what the organization is because I know it starts with a U. Now I just don't know what order it goes in. I think I'm going to say it. It's either UCF or UFC. I think UFC sounds better. So I'm going to Google it. Okay, perfect. It's UFC. Whenever I said UCF out loud, that just sounded like UNICEF, which is like a global nonprofit humanitarian thing. So UFC sounds better. But yeah, I remember seeing Drake like betting $1 million on this fight. And I'm like, is this what we're doing? Is this really where we're at in society, where we are betting $1 million on a fight? And your answer is probably going to be yes, because that's what we're doing. So I hope I get to a point where it's like, you know, I have the funds to bet just an absurd amount of money in terms of luck. Just like tossing it around. Like, does all of this money go to something good? Does this money, like, or is it just going into the fighters' pockets? Like, I would understand if Drake was like, I'm betting $500,000 on blank, and then like 50% of that, of the proceeds, is going to like some kind of humanitarian. It's going to UNICEF. It's going to some like nonprofit to help the homeless, to help homeless children. Something good. But I don't think so. You want to know what? Today we're going to do a little bit of Googling. Hang on. Oh, fuck. When betting on a fight, where does the money go? Perfect. Okay. MMA or boxing matches called no contest are handled like a draw, in which the betting line does not include draw as a wagering option. Did not understand that entire sentence. In simpler terms, you'll generally get your money back if the fight you bet on is called no contest. Okay, so, but what if DraftKings? I've been seeing a lot of fucking advertisements for that. How does MMA? No, I don't want. Well, fuck. What's the difference between MMA and UFC? Fuck, I didn't know there was a difference. Is there a difference? Oh, shit. Just like any other sport, betting on the money line is betting on who will win the fight. Okay, yeah, I got that. For example, if the money line has McGregor at plus 150 and some name I'm not going to try and pronounce at negative 170, blank is favored to win, and you would need to bet 170 just to win 100. So it's like, wait, but where's the $100 going? What the fuck? You want to know what? Trying to understand how MMA betting works, I give men a lot more credit. And I'm only ever going to say that one time. I do, because this shit, I don't understand it. I'm giving them a little bit more credit than they deserve. But I'm going to say it. I don't understand this. Probably because I'm a woman. I don't know. And probably because I don't really want to learn that much. But just simply by reading that, I think we as a society need to give bettors a little bit more credit, because I don't fucking understand anything that's going on there. But then again, at the end of the day, just don't bet. Why are you betting your money? Why would you want to risk losing money? Okay, so what happens if you bet on a UFC fight and it's a draw? All bets will be voided and stakes return. Okay, so then you get your money back. But So what's Drake doing? Like, he bets $500,000 on this person in a fight, but that person loses. Where the fuck does the money go? I need DraftKings to answer me right now because I don't understand. How does betting work? Like, is this episode just going to be me trying to understand how betting works on UFC fights? UFC. Oh my God, I keep thinking that I'm not going to get that. Betting on rounds or groups of rounds. What the fuck's a round? Is for a fighter to win by KO, TKO, or disqualification during that round or group of rounds. Oh, okay. I see what that means now. In the event of a technical decision before the fight, all bets will be settled. So, but where does the money go? Does it go to, like, if the player you bet on doesn't win, does that money come back to you, or does it go to the player who won? Because, like, why would you want your money to go to the other player? But, like, is that just what you're risking? When betting on a fight where this is like trying to understand fucking Bitcoin and what's the other shit where it's like artwork that you only can own. It's like one of a kind. I don't know. I can't my brain is going bananas right now. How to bet. I don't want to know how to bet, but I want to know the outcome. You know, I want to know where it's going. Here's the thing. Do boxers get money from bets? Yes. Fighter A would be the favorite. Whatever the amount of your bet, it is going to yield a profit that is 4 times less. Oh, okay. So a $100 bet will bring a profit of $25. Fighter B is the underdog, and in this case, you will get a return that is proportionately greater than the money you are risking. I think I understand. However, I don't. Okay, wait. Does that mean I would get the profit of $25, or the boxer would? You want to know what? We're going to move on. There's no reason for me to be trying to understand boxing at 11:30 in the morning on a Monday. So, we're going to take what we learned, which is very, very little, and we're going to move on. We're going to move past it. So, back to March Madness. Got somehow really off track, but I think it's very interesting to see how passionate people get about March Madness. It's like this little game. It's like it's not like Monopoly, but it is like a board game, except people are using real fucking money on bets. That's like another thing. I'll never understand gambling. And I know like gambling can be a serious like illness. Like people gamble their fucking homes away. I know that. But maybe I'd bet like $5. Here's the thing. In most situations, I try to understand it from their point of view. So I'm going to try and think like, okay, would it be similar to like if we started placing bets on contestants in RuPaul Drag Race? Would it be similar to that where it's like, you know, we're going to try and bet on who's going to win what competition? But again, like, how do people care that much about it to bet real money? I just think that I need to come to terms with I'm just not going to understand it ever. So, and is March Madness and gambling the same thing? What about fantasy football? I'd argue yes. Is that my place to say? No. But am I going to say it anyways? Absolutely. Like I mentioned earlier, I went on a little trip. I won't call it spring break because I'm not in college anymore. but all my friends are, so I just joined in I just hopped right in. And I went on their spring break with them. And that was lovely because it felt freeing. And also incredibly necessary because my seasonal depression was getting pretty bad. Did it cure it? No. Was it a temporary fix? Slightly. The sun was great. I didn't get too burnt, which is a shocker. Because there have been times where I've been on the brink of third-degree burns. So, thank God. But whenever I was on spring break, it got me thinking, because me and my friends were talking about this, every once in a while. Well, let me preface by saying we went to an area in Florida where it's not, it's not Fort Lauderdale, it's not Miami, it's not where there's where everyone's going for spring break. We went to a place where the majority of the population is above the age of 65. And I loved it. I love just not having to worry about seeing hot men look at me with disgust or comparing myself to supermodels on the beach. It was awesome, actually. And it was so quiet and peaceful and so lovely and refreshing. And I don't understand how people go to those busy, crazy places and not need a vacation from that vacation. That's just it seems exhausting. People go to Cancun and Punta Cana and they're just partying it up, which, if you have that kind of stamina and that kind of social battery, kudos to you. But that is not me. I can't do that. I can't do that every day. It's just not, I'm just not built like that. Those kind of people are just built different, and that's fine. But it got me thinking. The difference between spring break for men and women. Because, and I know people will go on spring break with, girls and guys, but I feel like most people typically spring break is kind of for the girlies or for the guys. Typically, I'd argue, generally. And because here's the thing. Women, we're just so pure. We're just trying to hype each other up, take photos of each other, advocating for each other. If you have good friends. Now, if you have shitty friends and they're all just trying to pit, everyone's just trying to bully you and pit you against each other and shit like that, that's a different story. But I like to, believe most people probably have good friends at this age. Now, middle school, different story. But, for example, whenever I was on vacation last week, we were just doing just such little cute things because we would wake each other up, or when we're getting ready, it would be we would come out of our rooms and hype each other up and compliment each other. And it was great things. And one day we went to the grocery store and got a bunch of stuff to make a really cute little brunch platter. It was a charcuterie board, but brunch food. And some of us made it for each other, and the other ones just cleaned up. It was very gentle and very pure. And it got me thinking, I don't think men are making each other these cute breakfasts. They're having a Four Locos and a Zin for breakfast. And then for dinner, they're having 4 beers, chicken nuggets and fries, and an Elf bar, and calling it a day, calling that a meal. And in between breakfast and dinner is just an overconsumption of Busch Light. And which to each their own, but just the stark difference between those two experiences is borderline fascinating, because I just can't imagine having that be a vacation. That feels like a chore. Does it not? We're taking pictures for each other and hyping each other up, and just doing these just innocently dancing when we go out, and and don't get me wrong, we're drinking too. And not me, but, other people are, hitting their little elf bars or whatever the fuck kids do these days. I don't know. But this is just a very stereotypical thing too, but from what I've seen in my age group, that's pretty much like the two things. It's either people, like the girls are just, doing these cute things, getting dressed up and taking pictures of each other and with each other and like, oh my God, you look so good. And, just empowering women. And then guys are like, yeah, oh yeah, you see that girl's tits on the beach earlier? Just bouncing around. Just drinking, like just burp. That was a fake burp, by the way. But like, I mean, come on. There's just no way that's actually, God, to be a fly on the wall. To be a fly on the wall in a house that a group of boys are renting in Fort Lauderdale just to see, just for a couple minutes. I don't want to be that fly forever because I would probably arguably die of like the smell that rots in there. And I think that it would just be interesting. It's interesting to, picture what it would be like. And I think that it is a beautiful thing. Another thing that we kind of discussed that besides men and women's experience during spring break is that, okay, there's this it's called a lanai in the neighborhood we stayed in, and it's basically like a man-made little lake in the backyards of everyone's houses, and it's just like runs through the whole neighborhood. And there's gators in there and turtles and probably fish and whatnot. And we were thinking, like, what would we do if, say, a gator was trying to hurt our dog? What are we doing in that scenario? And I felt this was a important question to discuss today, because I also want you guys to think about it too. What would you do if there was an alligator, like either coming at you or hurting your friend or hurting your dog or something, and you needed to save it? Furthermore, would you save them? Like, would you feel heroic enough to try and get in there and like smack the shit out of a gator? And I think there's a lot of factors that go into it. So let's discuss them. First of all, if I'm sober and there is a alligator trying to attack my dog, that scenario is going to be 50 times different than if I have had 5 drinks in my system. Because if I'm sober, my immediate fight or flight is going to kick in. And I'm not going to be that confident. I'm going to be more scared than I am, like, confident. Now, if I have had a couple of shots and a couple of drinks in my system and I have to fight an alligator, I'm going in head first and giving it my all. I feel like I would be more confident and more likely to maybe kick some ass than if I were sober, because I feel like I would be a little bit more hesitant and like my anxiety would kind of kick in a bit more. Obviously, I'm about to fight an alligator, but like because here's the thing, it happens. Like, stuff like that happens. There have been stories of people who have died trying to save their dog from an alligator or their kids or whatever it may be, or themselves. And it's not like this impossible scenario. It can actually happen. So I want you guys to ask yourselves, what would you do if an alligator was going after your dog? Because here's the thing, my dog is like my child, so I feel like my parental instincts would kind of also kick in. But ideally, I would need to be like pretty buzzed to successfully do that. Also, it depends on it depends on a magnitude of things. Also, what kind of weapons I have around me. How, like, can I stab an alligator? Can I throw, like, a butcher knife at it and, like, that'll do the trick? Or do I need to, like, punch it in the face? Like, I don't know. No one ever teaches you how to defend yourself from an alligator. Now, another question just popped into my noggin. The difference between an alligator and a crocodile, and which is scarier. So let's Google that as well. Now, how do I spell alligator? No idea. Alligator. Oh, okay, I was close. Versus crocodile. Okay, so they're extremely similar, but just by this one picture, I can assure you that a crocodile is fucking way more terrifying. Yeah. They're just like a little scalier. Their teeth are a little scarier as well. Believe it or not, the difference in shape means that alligators can exert more strength from their mouth, which is useful in cracking hard to open hard-shelled vertebrates like turtles. So you're telling me the little turtles in the lanai that I saw are the food for our alligators? Wow, that's... Now, I've had my fair share of seeing people try and fight a crocodile in Australia because those people are just... They're doing things that... They're doing the Lord's work. They're fighting things. They're having boxing matches. They're having UFC fights with kangaroos. And I need to know which is more powerful. So, let's find out. An alligator's bite weighs in about 2,500 psi, whatever the fuck that means. That is nothing compared to a crocodile, though, which has a bite force of about 3,700 psi, higher than some industrial pressure washers. Wait, crocodiles have the strongest jaws in the animal kingdom. So if you're fighting... So if you're fighting a croc, good luck. So yeah, I feel a little bit more confident now that if I could fight an alligator, I'm feeling a little bit more confident about that. Now, I hate to say it, but if my friend or my dog is getting attacked by a crocodile, I will host you a very nice funeral because I am not going anywhere near a crocodile. That is, oh my God, higher than some industrial pressure washers. You bitches know how harsh a pressure washer is to make matters worse, industrial. Now, I've never used an industrial pressure washer, but I can imagine that my little Home Depot pressure washer is, doing some damage to my concrete. But industrial? So, now we know. Because crocodiles are in mainly... Hang on, before I finish that sentence, I'm going to say something, or I need to... No, wait a minute. The American alligator, which is scientifically known as alligator mississippicinus. I'm going to copy this word, and I'm going to have Google say it. Translate. Wait. Okay. Mississippiensis. Mississippiensis. Alligator mississippiensis. Now, okay. Okay, so crocodiles, are they found in South Florida? All I know from this conversation is that I would not want to be in the same room as a crocodile. That's the consensus of this. On more important terms, Taylor Swift has kicked off her Eras tour. Now, for those of you who have been listening or know me personally, or both, you know that I am a Swiftie at heart. I would fight a crocodile for Taylor Swift, and that goes without saying. She started off in Glendale, Arizona, which is pretty, I don't know if she did this on purpose, but like Arizona, Arizona. Just a little pun for you for your morning. Glendale changed its name legally for like 2 days to Swift City. Like in the airport, when people were going to the airport, it didn't say Glendale, Arizona. It said Swift City, Arizona. So talk about power. In one night, because it was a 2 night. There was night 1 and night 2. Had 69,213 attendees in one night, and they were both sold out. So night 1 had that many, and night 2. So that's 138,426 people just in 2 nights. I don't think I can actually visualize how many people that is. However, I will put it into perspective that the Super Bowl didn't even have as many people as that. The Super Bowl had like 67,000 something people, and she had 69,213 people in that stadium. And I want to say that these stadiums are holding her back, because you want to know what? I think that if there were no capacity, like limitations, like you can only fit so many people in a stadium, I think that even if she were in a stadium of 100,000, like it could fit 100,000 people, I think that it could get sold out without a doubt. You bitches hear about the Ticketmaster thing? You had to have. Now, if you haven't, let me explain. Many moons ago, a couple months ago, she did a pre-sale for the tickets for her tour that she is now on. I don't know if I ever talked about this on the pod, but basically it was through Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster fucked up because they're a monopoly and they hate everyone. I waited in a virtual line, which I got a little code that they gave me a couple days beforehand, so I could go in there and wait in line, and I wouldn't get stuck with bots or whatever the fuck. I waited in that virtual line for 4 hours. At least 4 hours, I think. I skipped all my classes because I didn't think it was going to take that long, and I went to my first class, and I was trying to get tickets during class because that's when it started, and I wanted to get tickets, and whenever I finally got in, it was like they said there were tickets, but when I clicked on it, I went to go check out, and I'm talking, these were seats like in the nosebleeds. It was like, oh, sold out. I'm like, there's no way. So after all of that, the impact she has is incredible, because it was such a fucking disaster that it caught the attention of like politicians, and they're like, this is unacceptable. Like all of the fees and the monopolization that Ticketmaster has is like just like unacceptable. And I don't know if it went to the Supreme Court, but it went to some court of like having to figure out these fees, because you think about it, even with like airplanes and stuff, all of these like hidden fees. You pay for a $70 ticket, but your total ends up coming out as like $250 because of all the fucking fees. It'll be like, you'll try and get a concert ticket, and it's like, okay, yeah, your ticket is going to be $50, but here is a $25 fee for processing, a $15 fee for your time, a $50 fee for going on our website, a $80 fee for buying the ticket. It's just like it was insane. Okay. But back to the actual tour. She played 44 songs in 3 hours with basically no breaks. Like she was singing for 3 hours straight, dancing, just good God. And here's the thing. She's going to have to do that for like a couple of months. At least like 6 months in the U.S. Now, she hasn't been on tour in like 5 years, so she's had her fair share of rest in terms of touring, in terms of recording. No bueno, but she apparently loves it. And I just can't imagine that, like how much it takes out of you physically to play and dance and sing and entertain for 3 hours straight. I mean, come on. And the outfits. Good God. Here's the thing. How many more times can I say here's the thing? But truly, here's the thing. Some of the outfits were kind of a little head nod to previous outfits from her old tours and eras and whatnot. And it's like, that's the whole thing. It's like the Eras tour. She opens up with Cruel Summer and Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. And she goes era at a time. She starts with Lover, and then I think goes to Fearless, and then I think Evermore, and then maybe Reputation. So it's like each at a time, and then she'll do 2 surprise songs from like whatever era. However, was it yesterday or the day before, I think it was on Saturday, so 2 days ago, she played for night 2 in Glendale, and she didn't play any songs from her first album. So is that an Eras tour? No, it is a Fearless through Midnight's tour is what it is. Got a lot to say about that I won't talk about. A little pissed about it. And so basically, she's going to be singing these surprise songs, like either on the piano or on the guitar, where it's just like her and the instrument, which she's done before. And her discography is large enough where she can sing like 1 or 2 surprise songs at every show and never repeat one of them. So that's pretty fucking insane. And if my show in Pittsburgh doesn't get Cowboy Like Me, I'm going to riot. And whatever show does get Cowboy Like Me, watch out, because I'm coming. The moment she plays that live, dude, it'll be insane. She also played Tim McGraw on the fucking piano, her first song ever. I don't think she's played that live in years. So, yeah, that's going to be insane. And I am very curious to see if she does any like guest stars like in the past where she'll like bring celebrities and they'll perform together. I don't probably not, because she's already playing 44 songs, but who fucking knows? All I know is that the opening night I was laying in my childhood room bed until like 3 a.m, just refreshing my Twitter every 5 seconds because everyone was like uploading videos and I was so confused because it wasn't uploading fast enough, and people were like, oh my god, she's singing da 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 da, and I'm like, well, I want to see it, I want to hear it. And then people were live streaming on TikTok and Instagram, and it was just, let me tell you, I felt like I was there because everyone was just uploading a bunch of shit, and it was awesome. She did only play 1 song from Speak Now though, and I am a little hurt about it. Yeah, I am. She only played Enchanted, and we're all a little pissed about it, but Miss Swift, I guess, knows what she's doing. She'll never disappoint, regardless, but whatever. I'm also wearing my little folklore cardigan, so that felt very fitting to wear that today if I'm going to be discussing the one and only tour. And so, yeah. Another thing that I wanted to little touch on real quick. I saw this video of the Jonas Brothers, which they're back. Apparently they have a new album coming out, I think called the album. I don't know. But before I get into what the video that I saw, I will say I've never been a huge Jonas Brother girl, which I feel like most people don't. We don't talk about it enough. And maybe I am just the odd one out. I don't know. But I listened to them, but I wasn't like a diehard Joe Bro girl. I was a Hunger Games, Peeta Mellark, One Direction, and Taylor Swift girl. But this video that I saw was of Joe Jonas, like the band, singing their song called Much Better. And a little background, Joe Jonas and Taylor Swift used to date. And they had like a falling out. He like broke up with her over the phone in a voicemail, just like dumb shit from whenever they were younger. And in the song Much Better, which I didn't know existed, at the time when he wrote it, it says, "Now I'm done with superstars," and the teardrops on her guitar. Now, if you don't know, Taylor Swift has a song called Teardrops on My Guitar. And so obviously everyone knew that this song was about her. But now they're like besties because his wife, Sophie Turner, is like a huge Swiftie, and they've just probably grown up about it, and they're not like bitching about it anymore. And when he was performing it, he said cool with superstars instead of done with superstars. So he changed it to now I'm cool with superstars and the teardrops on her guitar. And I think that's a beautiful thing. That's called growth. And one day I hope I can be that way with my exes. But as of right now, I'm still in my I'm done with superstars era. And furthermore, I also saw another video about Taylor Lautner's new wife, whose name is now also Taylor Lautner. And that's not the first Taylor that he's dated, because he also dated Taylor Swift, which there's something weird going on there. She posted like a TikTok of her. It's that sound where it's like something oh, let me take you right, I gotta see her. And the caption was like, when you find out you're not the only Taylor that he's dated. And I just wanted to point that out because I find that very odd that he kind of has a thing for people named with his same name, but go off, I guess. But they're also cool too. So like I think he was on an interview kind of recently and was like, saying really, really nice things about Taylor Swift. And it was a beautiful thing to see. And you don't want to know what? I'm going to end with that. So moral of the story, moral of today's podcast, gambling and March Madness are very similar, borderline the same, can be the same. I will not ever fight a crocodile, but drunkenly fight a alligator. And Taylor Swift is breaking records every day. Also, side note, I forgot to mention this. Her show is now the most attended female concert in history. The previous was Madonna. So we're already off on a bang. So yeah. Thanks for listening today, guys. I hope you enjoyed my just absolute rambling of an episode. There were just some things that I wanted to talk about, get your little noggins thinking about. And if you haven't listened to any of Taylor Swift's new music, please do so if you care about me at all. I will fight a crocodile for her, though. I'll fight a crocodile for Taylor Swift. I will. And with that, I say thank you for listening. Make sure you follow the pod on Instagram and Argue with the Wall, but the with is a W. And subscribe to the YouTube channel if you feel like it. You can also follow the pod on wherever you're listening and get notified whenever I upload, which is every Wednesday. And I'll talk to you guys next week.